Hello and welcome to the second video in this series on Shopify Theme Development. In the first video, we covered what a theme is and where it sits in the context of the Shopify environment. Here's a quick recap. Shopify is a fully featured e-commerce platform that you can use to power an online storefront, a point of sale system, or sell through other online platforms. The most common way users utilize Shopify is through the built-in online store sales channel. And a Shopify theme is the template that determines the way that your online store looks and feels. In this video, we're going to cover something that's important to understand when working between multiple themes, and that is the difference between what is stored in your online store and what is stored in your theme. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, so if you watched the last video on what is a theme, if you haven't, definitely go back and check that one out. It's a short one, definitely worth watching. But we went through the different themes in the store and we switched between them. And that was to demonstrate what a theme does and doesn't do. Now that we're talking about what data is stored in your theme and what data is stored not in your theme, i.e. in your store or in your online store sales channel, let's go have a look at your theme again. So I'm going to open up the current theme and I'm going to preview a secondary theme as well. I don't think we need the third theme because you'll be able to see a clear difference between these two themes. So I want you to look at these two themes and see how they look quite different, but there's a few things that are the same. And that is we've got products, the same products in each of these themes because we are looking at the same store. We're not looking at a different store. We're just looking at a different way of presenting the same information. Over here on the left, we have a menu. And if you look at this theme as well, you can see the exact same menu. Okay, and that's because navigation and products store data. So here you've got products within your overall Shopify store data. Products are quite central to your e-commerce business. So whether you're selling on point of sale or through an online store or through some other, platform, maybe you sell through Instagram, products are going to be central to your e-commerce platform. But then within your online store, you've got things that are specific to your online store, like themes, blog posts, pages, navigation. Navigation is one thing that you may think could be distinct to the theme, but no, it is central in your online store. So if we go and click into navigation as an example, we can see here, this is where we would customize navigation. So we could add in a new link. I'm going to put in a hash as a placeholder. We've already got men's there, but let's just put in men's again. And if we open up our theme or refresh our theme, both of them, we can now see that men's is added to both of these menus. Also, it is previewing the same theme. This is an issue with switching between multiple themes that you have on Shopify. So I'm going to go back. What was it? This one was pop. Let's, for the sake of variety, preview our theme in minimal. So there you have it. The menu change has propagated to all our themes, not just the theme that's currently live, which is actually not showing. It's this one. All right. Also, our products. So if I click on Insane Shoes and I click on Insane Shoes here, if I make changes to the description or the price, that's also going to propagate across all themes. And again, it is showing me the same theme. So I'm just going to click over to here. Unfortunately, when you're working with multiple themes, if you have multiple themes open, it tends to switch automatically. An annoying feature of Shopify. But the point I want to get across to you guys is the theme data is more like customization of where you want your menu to appear, other options that you make available in your theme, but things like blog posts, pages, navigation, and of course products are separate to your theme data. Okay? So hopefully that made it pretty clear what data stays the same when you change your theme, but you might be wondering, why is this important for theme development? If you've watched any of my courses on Shopify theme development, then you should be aware of this concept called staging. For those of you who aren't familiar with the concept, staging is simply the way you preview your changes before taking them live on your website. So here's where it gets a bit tricky. Say for instance, you're working on a complete website refresh. You can easily keep all your theme code and data separate through a separate theme, but if you want to create a new page or blog post that you don't want to go live with just yet, unfortunately, Shopify does not yet provide that functionality. Let's take a look at another diagram. So starting from the bottom up, we've got your Shopify store, and through that, we have your online store. And then sitting on top of that, we have your theme. Now, unfortunately, Shopify does not allow us to have two online stores set up on the same store. But even if it did allow us to do that, we still have one piece of content that would stay the same for each of our online stores. And this is, of course, the most important content type of all, products. So to ensure complete separation between your changes that you are staging to go live and the actual live version of your site, you can create a second store. You can then work on the new version of that website on the second store before you're ready to make those changes live. If you're interested in learning more about staging, let me know in the comments. But for now, all I want you to understand is that changing your theme code and theme data does not affect the pages, blog posts, and navigation that you've set up in your online store. Conversely, updating, creating, or deleting pages, blog posts, and navigation will potentially affect all the themes within your online store, including the currently published theme. So we've talked a lot about your store data in this video, but what about your theme data? What do I mean when I say theme data? Let's take a closer look. All right, so we're back in our Shopify admin, and right now I want to show you theme data. So store data is pretty clear. It's everything here. It's basically store data. But to actually view your theme data, you can actually view the data by clicking into edit code. Now, if I go down to config, there's a file here called settings_data.json. If I click on that, here in this single file is all the data of your theme. Now, most likely you're not going to edit it here because theme data is usually customized using the customizer. And actually this thing right here, as well as the schema within each of your sections, which we'll talk about a little later, this determines the customization options that will inevitably create the data that you see here. So you can go in and get nerdy and actually change the data in this JSON file itself, or you can click on Customize Theme, and we can actually use the user interface to change the data. So remember I showed you that file just before, settings_schema, I think it was. Well, here is the options that are defined in that JSON file, okay? And right here in our sections data, and also here in our theme sections, this is where we can actually affect our theme data. So we can make, the headings blue, we can do all sorts of things. And this is only possible because we've set it up in our code, or rather the theme developer has set it up in the code. And so you can actually modify what you can edit here by editing your theme code. A great example, and one that I showed you before, is navigation. So navigation, as we saw before, we edit it in the navigation panel of our Shopify admin. But right here is an example of theme data. It's what menu we choose. So the actual selection of the menu we choose to put in this slot here is theme data, but the actual menu items inside that menu is store data. Okay, I think navigation is probably the best example that demonstrates what is theme data and what is store data. Now, it's not particularly obvious when, we've got two completely different themes. So, I'm not going to be tripped out if I customize the header here to be blue, and then maybe I go back. I'm not actually going to save those changes. And I go back to here, and maybe I look at the pop theme. Because these themes are so different, I'm probably not going to expect this menu to all show up in blue. But when you're developing themes on Shopify, usually a good idea is to duplicate an existing theme and then edit that theme. And so if I make any changes in the customizer on one of these themes that are almost identical, that's only going to affect that theme and not the other themes that have been duplicated from it. So maybe it's not exactly clear why this is important, but say for instance, in a live environment where you're working on a theme for a client, as I do, you may have duplicated the theme and worked on changes. So let me just do that right now. So now I've got a copy of the live theme, and I'm just going to rename it to debut dev theme. Okay. One thing you need to do before making this theme live is to compare the data between these two themes, because maybe you've customized something here that you want to happen in your next version, and you don't want to lose the changes that you've made here. So you may have to merge data between themes. And this is getting into a little bit more of a advanced topic, but again, we're talking about the implications of theme data and what that means in terms of theme development. Anyway, that's a bit on theme data. Let's continue with the video. So now that we've taken a look at the theme data in more depth, let's summarize the two.
So here we have a table with store data on the left and theme data on the right. In store data, you've got things like products, which are very central to your store, collections, which are closely related to products, and then you've got customers and orders, things that you might not show on your online store to the end user, but are also quite central to your e-commerce business. That kind of summarizes the main data points within your actual store, but then you've got stuff that's specific to your online store sales channel, like pages, blog posts, and navigation, as we previously saw. In your theme data, we might store a bunch of different things. We might store a selection of a particular menu and where it sits in the theme. We might have a selection of images, but of course not images that are product images or blog images, because they are stored in those particular products or blog posts. Then you've got the specific styling options of your online store. That is going to be probably the most common thing that you would store in theme data. And finally, any links to objects within your store will be stored within your theme data. And by objects within your store, I'm talking about everything you see here on the left.
Basically, any data that's not stored in the content types on the left here are most likely to be sitting somewhere in your theme. Again, you can theoretically store whatever you want in your theme data, but it's going to be related to the theme. So again, your theme is the way your online store looks and feels. So stuff like styling options and bringing in some of the pages, blog post navigations, products from your store, bringing that in and choosing where that's positioned in your theme, that's going to be part of your theme data. So now that you understand the difference between store data and theme data, let's start to focus in on the theme itself in the next video. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for new videos. Also, if you can't wait for new videos on Shopify, definitely check out my course on Shopify. I'll link it up in the first link in the description. Happy coding, and I'll see you in the next one.